Hello friends, so today we can discuss the top 3 problems from the latest LeetCode bi-weekly contest 36. So let's start. All the problems in this problem set are very good, so we can discuss the first 3 problems in this video. So the first problem name is design parking system, in which you have to design two functions. The first function take the input of big, medium and small, which represent 3 size of parking system or parking lots for every type of car. So there are 3 types of car: big, medium and small, and for every type of car there is some parking system allotted to it, some parking space allotted to that each type of car. So whenever some new car of any type enters, you will check that for that particular type of car whether there is some space left in for that particular type of car. If there is some space present, you will park that car into the particular space, else you cannot park this car, so you will return out false. So the basic or simplest approach for this question is make a global array for that function, and for every value of add car you will check that for the particular type of car whether there is some space available. If there is some space available, then what you can do, you can park that car out, else you will return out false. So as you can see, for all of these type of big, medium and small type of cars, you will take the input and you will make this global array and initialize of this with the first, second and third with this space for the big, medium and small cars. Then for every add car function called, you will take the input of the car type, but because in this we have stored the car type from 0th indexing and it is in the first indexing, so you will subtract out 1 from it. And then for every car type you will check that for the particular car type whether the space available is greater than 0, then you will subtract down the space and return out true, that okay, I have used 1 space from this, so return out true that okay, I have used 1 space and 1 space is reduced. Else if there is no space, return out false, that this car cannot be parked for that particular type of space. Okay, so that's a very simple problem. For the second type of problem, you are given that every person, there is some person and he has some key card. If that person uses the key card more than 3 times in 1 hour period, then some alert will occur. So what you will do, you are given that whenever any person key name, any person uses his key card, his time is registered in the system. As you can see, Daniel uses a key card at 10 o'clock, then he again uses key card at 10:40, then at 11 o'clock and so on, then Louis uses at 9 o'clock and so on. So you will tell that whether any person has used his key card 3 times in a row. So how you can check that? The most, and you have to return out a vector of array, a vector of strings which will store out the names of the person for which the alert will ring, which means that they have used this key card in a time span of 1 hour. So the simplest explanation for this can be, you have to make a map. First, for every person, store out whenever that person has used his key card. Okay, so what you can do, you can make a map for a string. For every name you will make a vector. So for every vector you will store down whenever this person has used his key card. Okay, so now if you store this key card in this format, into string format, it is very not useful to use this format. So you will convert this string format of this 24-hour system into minute form. What does this mean? You will take down this time and convert this into a single minute unit, which means that if 10 hours is passed by, so 10 into 60, which means that 600 minutes has passed by. Then for this it is 600 minutes plus 40, so 640 minutes has passed by. For this it is 660 minutes has passed by, and so on. Now you will store all these values for every person into a vector. Then you can sort down this vector. After sorting this down, what you can easily check, because I want a window of size 3, if there is 3 or more swaps of card happen in a time period of 1 hour. So what you can do, for every value you will go 2 places down the line. So if you are checking for indexed 1, you will check for index 3. So if index 3, the time at index 3 minus the time at index 1 is less than equal to 60, which means that you are checking the time of if you are iterating over this array from 0 till the size of the array. So if you're checking for the person Daniel, so Daniel has iterated over these values. So for Daniel, I will check for, okay, the first value and the third value, then the second value and the fourth value, and so on. Then I will check that for this and this value. If I subtract out the time for this and this, if it is less than equal to 1 hour, which is 60 minutes, because I've made everything into 60, so we will compare it with 60. If it is less than equal to 60, which means that I have used my key card 3 times in a row in a time span of less than equal to 60. So we will alert and we will store his name into another vector of strings. And in the end, we will return out this vector of strings. So that's the whole logic for the second question. I'll take that to the code part now to even make it more clear. So I have made a map of strings, and for every particular string name, I have made a vector of integers. So I will iterate over all the key names. First, convert down this time into a minute form, and we will store down this minute form for every person, key name, person, ith name. I will store down in this map value for this vector, this time. After that, what we will do, we will make an empty string of vectors to store out the name of the person for which alert will ring. So I will iterate over all the map values, and I dot first represent the name of that person, and I dot second represent the array itself or the vector itself. So if the size of the vector or this vector array is less than 3, then obviously this case cannot happen. So we will continue. Else, if this is greater than or equal to 3, we will first sort down this vector. So vector is stored in I dot second, so I dot second dot begin and I dot second dot end. Then I will store a variable OK, and I will check that what I have told you for a window of size 3 for j plus 2 minus the j term. If it is less than or equal to 60, which means I have used my card for at least 3 times in a row in 1 hour only. So I will make my OK equal to 1. After iterating over for every person using this for loop, I will check that okay, if OK turns out to be 1, then I will push back his name, which is stored in I dot first, into this answer vector, and in the end we will return out this answer vector. Okay, now how will solve the third question, which is also a great question, in which you are given row sum and column sum. We will understand this with this second example, in which you are given 5, 7 and 10, 6 and 8, 6 and 8. So I have actually done this, so I will first come down to part. Okay, so this, what does this mean? It means that you have to construct a matrix. For that matrix, you are given the column sum and the row sum. So as you can see, row sum means 5, this row, the matrix for this, you are given the row sum for this matrix. So the row sum for this is 5, the row sum for this is 7, 10, and the column sum for this column is 8, 6 and 8. So as you can see, this is given, and you have to construct a valid matrix for this particular configuration. And it is given in the question that always a matrix will exist. It will not happen that these numbers are random, and it can also happen that a matrix cannot happen. This case will not happen. Always some matrix will happen. Okay, so now how you can construct this matrix? Okay, so now the simplest approach which come to my mind is, what is the value? First try out storing values for these matrix, for these points, try out storing some values, which is the maximum possible. Okay, I can fill 1 in this matrix, because how I can tell that I can fill 1? Because 1 is smaller than both of them. Okay, that's why I can fill 1. I can fill 1, 2 and 2 and 2. This is a valid for this row, because the sum of this is 5. But I have to fill these also. This okay, so how we can tell that? Okay, I can fill 1, I can fill 2, 3, 4 and 5. I cannot fill 6 here, because even though if I fill 6 here, I can fill 1 and 1 here. It turns out to be valid for this column, which is equal to 8. But this is not valid for this row, because the total sum has exceeded 5. So this case is not valid. So the maximum I can fill here is 5. Okay, if I have filled 5 here, then this turns out to be 0, and this whole row turns out to be 0. This entries will be 0, because I have used 5 at the first place only. And if I have used 5 at the first place and the total sum for this row is 5, so both of them should be 0 only. Okay, by logic. Now if I have used 5 here, then I can, the rest of the blocks is in the particular column, I have to fill 3. So I will update this with 3. Now because this value turns out to be 0, I cannot do anything. I will move this pointer to this point. Now I point to this block. For this block, which is small, I can fill this with 1, 2, 3. I cannot fill with this 4 because if I fill with this 4 value, then 5 plus 4 equal to 9 and this will exceed it. So the maximum I can fill is equal to 3. So I will fill this with the minimum of both of these values. So I'm using a 2-pointer approach. So the minimum of this is 3. And then if I use 3 here, I will move down this to 0 and this will become 4. If this will become 4, this pointer points to a 0 value. So I will move down this to the next value. Because if he points to a 0 value, how we can do anything? So now if it is 6, which is smaller, for 4 or 6, 4 is smaller. So I will fill 4 here, turn down this to be 0, and this turns out to be, because I have used 4 here, so I will make this equal to 2. Okay, because I will subtract 4 from both of these values. Now if I subtract 4 from these values, now because this turns out to be 0, I will move this pointer to this value. So the minimum of this 10 and 2 is 2. So I will fill 2 here at this position, subtract this 0 and 2 from this position, so it turns out to be 8. Move this pointer to this position, last 8, and at the end, because this is valid, both of them turn out to be 8. So I will fill 8 here, and the position which are left should be 0. And now as you can see, this is a valid matrix because as you can see the row sum, this is 5, this is 7, this is 10, this is 8, this is 6, and this is 8, as you can see, and this is the starting value which are given to you. So this is how we will fill using 2-pointer approach. This is matrix. So this valid matrix. So I hope you get the point how you are filling this matrix. We will take on to the code part now. So we will first find out the value for the row sum and row column, the dimensions, make a vector for this given dimension, and then initialize the I and j with 0 because we are starting with 0, 0. And then what we will do this while loop till I and j both are inbound. If anything goes out of bound, we'll just return out from this while loop. Then first we will check that both I and j should be not equal to 0, because as you can see in this, the ith and the column ith value can be equal to 0 also. If it is 0, it can also happen that I have a row, it is equal to 0, 0, 5. Like this, and like this is something like, okay, this is something like 1, 1, and like something else can something here. But like if I point 1 point here, 1 point here, then this is 0. So this is nothing great because if the minimum of them is 0 only, so I will fill 0 only. But because everything is initialized with 0, I have made a vector of initialized with 0. So everything is initialized with 0. So I don't have to do anything with this. If, as you can see also in this, if when this pointer value turns out to be 0, we will move to the next point. So we will always ensure that my pointer will never point to a value which is equal to 0. So what we'll do, at the initial start, we will make a while loop and we will move my I pointer such that if it is equal to 0, we will move to the next pointer. Check that, okay, this is equal to 0, move to the next point. Till the first point, we will find a non-empty or non-zero value. We will do the same for I and j. Because if it is 0, then the particular row or column will be 0 only. So we don't have to do anything for that column because we have initialized with 0 only. Now we have find out a value for I and j which is inbound. Now what we'll check that, okay, first I and j should be inbound. We will also check this again. And because we are doing this here, now if for I and j if they are inbound, we will check that, okay, if row of sum of I, if my pointers point at these two positions, which is smaller, this point or this point? So this is the row point, this is the column. So if the row sum I value is less than the column sum of j value, then what will I do? I will make this ij value, which is this I and j value, equal to the row sum value, because this is small. And then what will I do? I will subtract down this row sum value from the row sum and the column sum, because if the row sum value turns out to be 0, we don't have to do anything. We will subtract down from this column sum. So column sum will subtract down, and because row sum has now turned out to be 0, we will increase my ith value by 1, because I subtract down row sum by 1. And else, if this condition is not met, which means that my row sum is not smaller, then my column sum will be smaller, as you can see. Then what we'll do? We'll do the same thing. We will like make this ij value equal to the column sum, subtract this column sum value from the row sum value, because this is larger and this is smaller, and then we will like move my column sum value to the next point. My j will increase, and we will do this as I've told you in this code. We will do this for this while loop till both of them are inbound. If anything goes out of bound, we will just come out of the loop because everything is 0 only, and in the end we will return out the like this array itself, which is, or this matrix A. I hope you get the point for all the three questions. If you still have any doubts, please mention down. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next one. Keep coding. Bye.